everyone, and welcome to some, midnight battlefield fun. There's, a bunch of things going on lately, and I just kinda want to have some, fun time. I kinda thought about streaming Genshin, then was like, hey, you could stream Battlefield, and I started streaming Battlefield, but I was like, yeah, you could stream Battlefield, and now I'm streaming Battlefield. Because, I do like Battlefield, and hey, welcome to the more midnight stream today. We're here and playing. Actually, astoundingly well. Like it's over 30 degrees Celsius the past years. I mean, it's not 31 degrees like we had the previous heat wave. This is the fourth heat wave this. Is this already the fourth heat wave this summer? I don't know. It could be the fourth heat wave. But it's like 31 to 33 degrees Celsius, and I'm doing remarkably fine. I've been out for 3 days. 3 days in a row I've just went out all the time, and I mean I got enough sun. It's just heat wave after heat wave after heat wave. It's dumb, yeah. So I actually at least I'm getting enough vitamin D, and that keeps you fit and all. That's nice. Though it's always I go out, I'm like, hey, this isn't so bad. Come back into the house and it's like, oh damn, everything is just full of sweat, and so I need to kind of wash my clothes all the time. I mean, at least they're clean and all. Don't smell and that. Okay, let's just fuck it. Playing some breakthrough on zero, the maps, the remade map and the new map from season 1. Okay, exposure first. Why am I getting angry all the time in VC face? That's weird. Yeah, my vitamin D for the year is swamp as summer weather. Oh yeah, we had a bunch of humid waves. So basically we had a heat wave which was dry as hell, and then a bunch of rainfall, and then we actually got to then it was humid, so we had the humid wave, and now we're back into a heat wave. So all working out overall. That's fine. Everything's fine. Oh yeah, I can't spawn in a vehicle, so we're just keeping Angel and doing it again as usual with Angel. So we're over the halfway mark with the PVX45. That's nice. That's very, very nice. I really like exposure. Okay, honestly, it's more like, okay, what the hell is wrong? Is it my glasses? But yeah, I like exposure. I'm not sure where I would rate it though in terms of, quality maps for the series. I think it works for me partially due to the novelty of being a map design that shouldn't work, and yet it works. Fuck. Well, that's an amazing start into the stream, innit? Oh well, yeah, it's pretty hot, and at least after the humid wave, which was frankly worse. Yeah, it's the thing that with more tech and you're right. I mean, it comes to the point that Battlefield always had mechanics of falling down with parachutes and all, and now they implemented zip lines, and well, it just comes together into a very, very fun way. Okay, what the hell is going on with Wait a second. Okay, something is wrong with my program. Oh, it's... Oh. I look so dumb on stream. Oh well. Yeah, the exposure really works, which I don't think it's like one of the maps in the series that I would say, oh yeah, all-time classic. It should be on the list of. We should remind ourselves to remake this one. It's not a Carcant, it's not a Gulf of Oman, it's also not, you know, like Demavin Peak. All the good maps. Oh hell, Atacama Desert from Bad Company 2, that one was so good. What the fuck is wrong with VC? Just 1 second. VC face, hello. First of all, I have a calibration, and I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna reset my model. There you go. What the? Where is it now? Hey there. What the? Here we go. No, the position's off. Okay, so there we go. Hopefully this will sort out any problems. Yes, it is a ponytail. It's a, you know, slightly swingy ponytail. Only the finest things on my character design. Damn it. Okay. Why is VC Face just always thinking, is my camera in the wrong position? Is that better now? Well, I suppose my character falls under the character category, and I mean, it's not far off. It's more like I also have a ponytail, because, you know, ponytails are actually... I just like ponytails. You know, they have very, very nice ways to just tie your hair, because they combine with... they combine the fact of they look good, they're very simple, and also they are practical. Holy shit. I think the one thing I admire ponytails for is just being so utterly practical, because, okay, I don't know how many of you had long hair. I can tell you, when it's summer, like when you're in heat waves, like I am now. Oh god, I will not never wear a ponytail. Like, the sweat will stick to your, like, will let the hair stick to your neck. I hate it. It sucks. But you know, just fixating your hair a bit upwards, and then all the fresh and cool air flowing around your neck. It's wonderful. What are you? God damn it. Oh yeah, braids are like I like braids. I actually had braids. I would honestly probably, you know, from a purely practical standpoint, I would probably prefer braids. The longer my hair is, simply because they just keep so much better in shape and like secure the hair. Because, you know, when you're sleeping with a ponytail, it's more fixated in place, but it's still, you know, somewhat loose on around the back. It's just still hanging there, and so braids would actually be like, oh yeah, it's actually like the hair is fixated. It's nice. Well, that's not useful. good. We're getting slaughtered here. That's not fun.
They're coming, and there's nowhere else to run. Defend the last sector.
Well, that's a new sound. Ah, well. But yeah, I'm wearing wearing everything in the ponytail is very useful. Gone SSP. Who was that again? I should have recognized the name, but I don't. Oh god, my aim is garbage today. Oh yeah, gone from Hyundai. I mean, yes, yes. I'd say you're right. Oh god, Hunter x Hunter is great. I should continue seeing the series. Kind of watched, like, I think through the first 3 seasons, and it's fun. It's very fun. Yeah. Currently, we're kind of binging The Boys though, so that's currently our series of choice, I would say. What is wrong with my aim? I don't think so, like... you know what, maybe we get to it, but like there's so many series we currently watching and want to watch. I mean, yeah, for once, binging The Boys, and now there's Overlord, the 4th season, which, hey, I mean, I'm still amazed that Overlord is like the series where Madhouse finally gets, you know, not to only make 3 seasons, but 4 seasons from Madhouse. That's not normal. This shouldn't be. What is this timeline? Madhouse makes 2 seasons at best. Even if they're like doing their A game, they usually like, you remember One Punch Man, right? Madhouse made like the 1st season, it was fucking amazing. 2nd season, not Madhouse anymore. Cool, thanks. I mean, and then they're making Overlord, and the Overlord is like, oh yeah, we're just making 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons? What? This is not the Madhouse I grew up with. I mean, it's not. I mean, Madhouse is also making an isekai, so shonen is shonen, I suppose, but, you know, at least Madhouse and Mappa are still getting the good ones, I would say. So that's very useful. That's very, very useful. I like that they're getting the good ones, but like, I mean, Mappa is basically the rebirth of old Madhouse. I mean, there's a reason. I mean, there's the thing we talked about Chainsaw Man already. And I mean, I've seen the work Mappa puts out. Every time they're picking up one really unique and weird shonen, it's always like, yeah, this fits Mappa. This is like the old Madhouse. Like before that, like if you imagine manga like Dorohedoro and Jujutsu Kaisen, you'd be like, oh yeah, those should go to Madhouse. Like in the 2000s, that would be Madhouse series. And well, they still feel like like 2000 Madhouse series. They're just coming from Mappa, and it's just spot on, and I absolutely adore them. Yeah, I mean, from the main material, when I saw Chainsaw Man, and it's just some imagery, and they were like, oh, Mappa is doing it. I was like, yeah, that checks out. That fits them. It's like, that looks like a Mappa show. That's just Mappa. I hope really Chainsaw Man. I mean Chainsaw Man is probably gonna be fucking amazing anyway. But like, I just hope it's gonna be like. I mean, I read Jujutsu Kaisen, and I would say 100%. As long as Mappa is making seasons for Jujutsu Kaisen, this is gonna be the superior version. Like, the manga is good. Like, I really like the manga, but you know, it's one of those manga where someone is really adept at writing characters and scenarios and some, you know, very solid art. Like, it's very solid artwork, but it's not. You know, it's not this thing where you're like having someone who really. He's not able to completely nail the visual humor. Here's the thing. I think there's always this scale in anime, especially in shonen anime, I would say. Like, I'd say there's the gradient from how much is the anime like just copying the visual humor and visual like fighting of the manga, and how much are they, you know, making their own. And I would say there's like on one end with they're basically just copying it. That's One Piece. Like if you watched if you're watching like Wano and Roof Piece, I mean, aside from literally every week we're just getting absolutely fantastic. I mean, okay, we're not getting absolutely fantastic animation this week because they're making a fucking movie tie-in, and yeah, but there's still my rule. If it isn't in the manga, it's not gonna be canon, no matter what some producers say. No, your original script is not gonna be canon, no matter how much money you paid for this line from the mangaka, it's not in the manga. But yeah, basically, they're gonna make a movie tie-in. It's just gonna be so like, I mean, hell, I don't know how to describe Roof Piece better. Like, I think the one episode we just had like a while ago was just summed it up perfectly. Like, you had like the intro arc about Big Mom falling down and some people squabbling, and then around the mid-mark they literally had a flashback about what happened at the beginning of the episode. It's like, oh cool, that's just some really lazy writing. Like, just petting, just petting it out. And then it cuts back to Roof Piece, and it's Ruffy fighting against Kaido, and you're just gonna end up with the most amazing fight. Like, the animation quality is so good. I'm so looking forward to that end fight. I will not talk about it here because well, my girlfriend has not read the manga, and I will not spoil it to her by just some fucking accident. I just say I am so looking forward to the fight between Ruffy and Kaido. It's amazing. Oh my, yeah, I get it. Like, oh, you sometimes have episodes in Wano that are just amazing. Like, you literally have the fight between Frankie and I don't know how the Triceratops guy is called again, but like, and then the animation quality just jumps up to insane levels when like Mecha Pirate King Frankie just punches him and throws him, and it's so amazing. It's like, oh, it's just so good to see it. And like, you see the most important parts, they literally just make into animation, and it's perfect. It's the thing you want to see. And then on the other hand, you realize one thing, and it is that TV anime were a mistake, especially when it came to, you know, certain long-running like think about it. One Piece became a series on TV over 20 years ago. They even started with a shitty aspect ratio, and back then everyone was like, yeah, we need to bring out an episode every week, and they just kept it. And it's like, fucking hell, people, you know, they should have just, and I mean that seriously, around the time where they realized this show is gonna be very popular and it's gonna be the thing, they should have made the good decision to just scrap the weekly release of One Piece. Just scrap it, and every time an arc finishes, they're animating the next arc. That's it. That should have been it. Like, get an ETA from Oda. He's like finishing one arc per year. You can make one nice big season per year, like one arc, and that's it. That should be it. But no, we need to stretch and pull and like. Even if you like cut down Wano, it would still be like a very long season. You could do it all over the internet, and like, who the fuck cares? Like, I know the whole anime industry is banking on it. You know what the dumbest part about this is? The absolute dumbest part? Anime don't bank on how many people are actually watching the season. They bank on how much merch is actually, changing hands. This is also why, Overlord has 4 seasons for Madhouse. Like, the Albedo figurines, they are selling. Everyone is just horny for the big succubi with long black hair. I don't blame people, but like, this is the reason Madhouse is getting bankrolled. That's literally the reason. Well, that's true, but you can make an ETA that like he's gonna finish an arc like once a year. It's not gonna be the biggest delay. But then again, what the fuck is wrong with my model at the moment? Oh god, yeah. I mean, truth be told, I am shocked that Oda has done a hiatus now for 1 month, and it's like, I mean, good for him. I'm actually like super into him saying, yeah, I'm gonna take a hiatus, but it's amazing that he's just at it for over 20 years. He's just making One Piece chapters every single week, and you know what? Usually when you have that kind of shonen series that just, releases every week and just has so much stuff, it's usually bad as shit in stuff. Like, I know some people are still, oh, Detective Conan is not that bad. Like, are you fucking kidding me? He's a super detective, and now only 20 years later, after pointless fillers, they're like, oh hey, we found another high-ranking officer in like the organization that made me a child. At that point, you were like, I mean, shouldn't Shinichi just be, an adult again? It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. But One Piece is like, here's an arc, and here's another arc, and every arc is good and builds on each other, and the characters are great, and the plot twist. Like, I'm not gonna spoil Wano, even though, as with nearly every arc, we know how it will end. We just all collectively know this is a shonen show. I should probably not be that surprising, but I'm like, Wano ends, and already there's so much setup for the new story, the final saga. I'm like, listen, I saw some of the best conclusions, some of the mightiest twists I've witnessed over the 20 years collecting this series. This could be the finale of some series, and people would be happy. And then the series like, well, here's a bunch more things you need to wonder about. Stay tuned for the final saga. And it's like, good lord. Is this even legal that the series can just keep doing this? Keep being this good? Without repercussions? Is that possible? Is that legal? Yeah. Oh god, yeah. I mean, Gintama, from what I saw, Gintama isn't bad, but I mean, Gintama is mostly a joke riffing on other manga and anime, so I suppose it's not the worst. They're making not really a coherent story out of it, but, I mean, I wouldn't say Gintama is the worst offender. I mean, one of the better ones is literally JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because it's like he's making a story and then he's like, I'm having a new idea with new stories and characters. Fuck it, I'm just gonna make something out of that. But yeah, I mean, we will probably never see something like One Piece again. This series is just too unique and too, like, you can't just keep up that level of quality for this long. This is just usually not happening as easily ever again. Like, you look at like big series, most of them have their problems. Like, I mean, how many series just end with a absolutely disliked ending? Oh well, maybe I should probably read more Gintama. Gintama? Well. But yeah, I'd say the most interesting,
Beacon's hot. I'm ready.
well, you know, I'd say that one of the things that I mean, it's always this thing like people say, oh, long-standing stories have bad endings, but I'd say not many. And I know I really liked the ending to Naruto. I mean, I know some people are like, oh, the rest, like, the ending is pulled out of the ass. I'm like, you're stupid. You're all just fucking buffoons. Like, didn't we have like the whole thing with Pain that literally set up that ending? Like, seriously, look at me, and I'm like, did you read the Pain arc? And we're like, this is amazing because of the fights or because of the conclusion? Because how Naruto sought to change the world with his, ethics. Oh yeah, the ending was amazing. I love that the final panel of the manga is literally them lying on the stone with, arms blasted off, but like their blood is flowing into each other. It's like, this is great symbolism, and also the fact that, like, can we get to the point that people apparently never catched over, also nearly 20 years? Like, over 20 years, that one of the things about, fuck that, I'm not gonna play Exposure again. Fuck Exposure. Let's change to Rush. Rush is better. Like, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is that from the beginning, even before fucking Shippuden, like, there's this thing that Sasuke was literally like, oh, hey, I'm gonna do this all on my own, and like, I don't have to do this on my own. I have to defeat everything on my own. I have to be the strong guy, TM, and like rule with might, get vengeance. And Naruto was all the time, he's my friend, and I will get him back and show him how love and affection can overcome hatred and vengeance. Especially, because in the end Sasuke was like completely wrong, and his whole fucking idea was based on, I need to take vengeance and be the strong guy. And so he literally was then literally like manipulated into being shitty, and after that his thing was still, I just need to be the strong guy in a different position. And like, there's a thing that the final line of Naruto is literally him saying, maybe I'll try your way for once. It's like, it literally spells out to you, being like, oh hey, you should believe in friendship. It's not simple. It's not hard. It's literally building like. There are 76 volumes full of Naruto, literally building up to this moment, and people were like, "And that's bad." Good lord. Media literacy is literally not taught in schools anymore. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Magi was also great. Which one is that? Maybe I'm just kinda dumb now.
The enemy has armed their explosives.
Damn it. But yeah, I mean, even if we look at, you know, Western shows where like millions get poured in, we have like, I mean, I just heard of Game of Thrones and them having a shit ending, but it's not surprising. There are literally not many shows that go on like long and are actually good. Okay, you know what? I take that, but there's like one Western show that actually went on for 12 seasons or so. 12? Was 12? What was 12? 12 or 13? I think it was 12. 12 seasons and almost, and I mean almost, nailed the goddamn landing. And that is Supernatural. I know, some people are saying, oh, it's going on for so long and the series is not as good anymore. Fuck you, everything starting with the Leviathans and afterwards is literally better than the seasons that came before. Like, yeah, sure, the first 5 seasons, they're good, they're fine, they're introducing characters, but like, oh, they're just so tame to compared to something that happened, so just to things that happened later. Like the later seasons, they grab out the, like, they just grab out the creativity and make great crossovers and have just more great humor, and then you're like, and you're also like, oh hey, they're introducing new characters that, like, in the rules of other TV shows should suck, but they're amazing. Like, there's this whole thing that people are like, oh, they're taking care of a child now. But Jack is amazing and has like great character arcs and is very relatable and is just very well written. And then it's like, oh, Bobby is dead, but now they're introducing Rowena, and sorry, Rowena is one of the greatest characters in the show. Sorry, like the fact that she's just in for like the final 3 to 4 seasons, she's amazing and great and iconic, literally. Like, she's one of the most iconic characters of the show, and people who don't know her never have watched Supernatural. Fight me. I mean, we all watch them now on you know, what's it called, Amazon Prime, so that's just very handy having them all on streaming services. But yeah, they're great. They have so many great episodes in the later ones. Like, I'd say some of the best seasons just come after they introduce the man of scripture and their bullshit. Like, you know, the bunker and all that. That's great. And then there's like, oh hey, here's some more, and there's an episode about more hidden mechanics of the bunkers, and then there's, God, it's just so much creativity in Supernatural. Like, and also, can we please note down they made a crossover episode with Scooby-Doo, and it's amazing. Like, there's also like a great just tie-in to how this whole thing happened. And they just animated like nearly 90% of the show, and it's like of that episode, and it's great. And they just did that, and then they had the perfect ending. They had literally the perfect ending. They yanked that shit to a conclusion that was good, and then they set it on fire. The final episode. I am so furious to this day. They just managed to fuck it up. like, I don't know. How many of you know the ending to Supernatural? And like, can I just rant about Supernatural for a minute? I mean, it depends with choice overload. I usually know what shows I want to see, and then I just watch those. I'm still pissed that there's so much like spread between services. That is dumb. I'm honestly in some form relatively I'm relatively happy that at least, you know, in terms of anime, like we had like 4 to 5 anime streaming services here just for anime, and they sometimes precisely try to license away shows that were popular on another one. Like there was this thing that you know, Love Life wasn't picked up by anyone the first season, and then, you know, Crunchyroll picked it up and it became big, and then another provider was like, oh yeah, oh we're gonna you know, license Love Life Sunshine, and you're just being like, fucking assholes. And you know what the most insulting part is? Their streaming service costs twice as much as Crunchyroll, and like, I did not shed a single tear when they got bought up by Crunchyroll and merged into it. I'm not shedding a tear. They're like, we're already having too many streaming services even here. I'm fine with 3. I'm still pissed that Disney Plus tries to license anime now. Fuck you, Disney Plus. Fuck you for not doing simulcast on summertime rendering and all that. Still, I am not really crying much of a tear because, yeah, monopolization is bad, I know, but come the fuck on, I'm not paying for like 4 services on top of the existing services. That's just bullshit. That's just major bullshit. Yeah, Bleach should have been on Crunchyroll because literally every single other season is on fucking Crunchyroll. That's like, that's just fucking put it on the service where it is anyway. I mean, I didn't have cable, but yeah, it's just stupid. But yeah, Supernatural rant incoming. Okay, can we just talk about how they actually managed to make the perfect ending for the show, and then they just literally just killed it. They just lit it on fire and pissed on it. So here's the thing. For everyone not knowing how Supernatural goes down in the end, basically there's this whole thing that they find out that yes, God is very much a thing and he's still around. It just turns out that God is, you know, kind of an asshole, but frankly, not bad. I mean, it's very realistic because they portray God as, you know, being an egocentrical idiot that just wants to live through drama, and his main shtick is always brother killing brother. So they're like, you know, Cain versus Abel and all that, and so they're like very cleverly like making the threat that he's like, that God literally set up Supernatural just to be like, there's always a new season, and he's always gonna make something that is just gonna make like a new tension about the world peace. And I mean, it's meta as fuck to be like, oh hey, God literally wants the show to go on and just to have as much drama as possible between the protagonists, but that's great. That's actually how I would like. I'm just pointing at me like, this is good writing for the Christian God. This makes sense. This even makes sense in terms of the goddamn Bible itself. This is amazing. And so there's a lot of shenanigans, and there's like even an amazing episode because God just decides, you know, fuck it, you're not the protagonist anymore, and then like Dean literally like gets so many holes in his teeth at once because he all through the show he just eats junk food, and he never had problems with his teeth because, well, they literally have like protagonist powers, and they don't because they're the protagonists from God, so God protected them all the time. And when they pissed off God, God was like, "Fuck you! I'm taking away your protagonist powers." And the car breaks down, and Dean just can't fix it for shit, and he gets teeth in his holes in his teeth, and it's just like. It's so amazing and it's so great, and also Garth is the best supporting character in the whole show. Fight me, Garth is amazing. Justice for Garth. I am so happy Garth actually found love and happy and peace. And it's like he deserved that. He's great. But yeah, fucking off topic. Like it's cool. It's like the whole final season is just literally God absorbs the power of his sister, so he's like even more power and godly and all that. And he's just like, you know what, fuck it. I'ma just kill everything. Like, he literally says the show has to end. And just snaps every single person away from Earth. Just be like, I'm tormenting you by just being alone on the planet all the time, fuck you. Which is just... That's great. It's like, that's a godly punishment, honestly. And their whole thing is like, okay, so just to heads up, in an amazing, literally amazing arc, there's this whole thing that they bring back Lucifer from his cage. So like everyone who like watched it before, like Lucifer was kind of a shit character, and then in the later seasons they bring him back and he has like this whole midlife crisis thing, and it's amazing. Like, he's still an asshole, but like at least they make him an interesting character. So yeah, the final seasons are amazing in that regard. They literally just be like, oh yeah, hey, we're bringing Lucifer back, and finally the actor can just act the shit out of the role, and it's great. And Lucifer just kinda makes an oopsie whoopsie. Okay, it's not really an oopsie whoopsie. He's more like, I just fuck a girl, and like he fucked a girl while he possessed the president, and yeah, that's a whole lot of things. And then he, had a son, and that's Jack. And Jack is like super powerful because Nephilim shouldn't exist because they can tear down walls and bring tear downs between kill gods and angels and all that. Blah 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 blah. Well, basically angels want him dead and all that, and because he's also the son of a, archangel, Lucifer and all that, everyone's like, oh, he's super problematic. But, in the end, it ends with Jack absorbing the power of God and restoring the world, and then in the, not the final episode, the episode before that, they're literally like, oh shit, we've beaten God, what are we going to do now? And Jack is like, what? I'm just gonna do some things, and I'm just getting everything right here. Like, trust me, guys. And then they're like, yeah, we're trusting you. And then they, sit into their car, and then they literally ride into the sunset. Nice open ending about they defeated God. Literally the guy laid out in the script to be the guy running the show. He's dead. He's gone. This is the logical endpoint of the show. There is nothing anymore. God is dead. There's a new God in place. And, they're riding into the sunset. And in the background plays Wayward Son. It's perfect. It's just absolutely fucking perfect. This is the ending you wanted to hear. They defeated the biggest thing. They attacked and dethroned God. Finn. It's the end. It's how the RPG ends. It's just it's perfect. All the ties are wrapped up. Fine. I love it. If you watch this episode, just end it there. Do not watch the final episode. Just don't. Do yourself a favor. Seriously. Don't watch the final episode of Supernatural. You will have you have finished 12 seasons of great character writing, great stuff, and you just witnessed the perfect ending for it. Because if you are going to watch the final episodes being in for a shit show, like, where to start? So, first of all, I would give them credit for at least one thing. Because from the first seasons onward, they kinda set up the whole point that Dean will die on the job. He's just gonna die hunting some monster. That's just how it is. That's just how it's always gonna be. And they kinda wanted to do that in the last episode, which... Okay, here's the thing. I think the intention is fine. It's literally something people kind of, they kind of tease towards all the time. Like Dean's on the self-destruction trip for the whole series. He's just going to die one day. That's just like, it's written in the stars. He's just going to die. That's his fate. And then there's this whole thing that well, he dies. They hunt some vampires, I think, and he dies. And Sam can save him. And Dean is like, take the car, have a good life, you can actually walk away, I can't, blah blah blah. And you're like, well,
The enemy has armed their explosives.
no,
Enemy forces have set
if it would have stopped at that, I wouldn't even say
our vital objectives.
it wouldn't be that bad. This is like, it's not the perfect ending with the sunset they literally filmed and then just wanted to carry on for one more episode. No, but it's fine, it's fine. Here's the problem. This is literally the opening of the goddamn season. They're like spending 5 minutes of this, like not the season, like the episode. They're spending 5 minutes of this goddamn episode on, yeah, Dean is dead now. And then it's just like a really long thing about him being in heaven and driving around in the car. And where you see how his brother is like having a life and family and all that. And I think there's one thing we need to talk about. And that's the problem with, what if the character becomes God during the season? Like, what if a character becomes in a series God? Or godlike? Or, dethrones God? Here's the problem. You're kinda setting up gigantic expectations at that point. And, truth be told, you cannot fulfill them most of the time. Like, Supernatural just literally happened, and then they have a new god, and as they established, and I have to point it out, for 12 seasons, this god made the world a fucked up place for his amusement. So when Jack says he's just gonna change some things, you're obviously gonna be like, okay, so is he gonna end world hunger? Is he just gonna save the monsters from just being, predators on humanity? So humans and monsters can actually like live together? Is he gonna do that? Is he like bringing down the divides by humans and monsters fight each other? No. Nothing. Also, like, is he gonna close hell? Because, hell is just an arbitrary shit place and demons just exist because, again, the last god wanted misery because he just wanted something to amuse him. Is he gonna close hell and all? No. No, he's just not gonna do that. He's just not going to do it. So, what is he doing? Well, I feel so dumb for saying this now, but literally, they come on the stage and say, oh yeah, God tore down the walls in heaven, because before, when you went to heaven, everyone got their own nice little, room with a door on it, and were shielded off from everyone else. And He tore down those walls, and now everyone in heaven is just living together, which is nice. But there's this whole thing about like, didn't we just establish for 12 seasons that the past god made an insufferable world for his amusement? And you're not gonna change anything about that. You're just going to tear down the walls in heaven and declare, oh yeah, that's great now. This is actually making everything better. It has nothing on the status quo of the real world. But like, no walls in heaven. Go Jack, I suppose. Splendid, great new god, you've been there. There's so much AI in the enemy team. So yeah, guess why I'm slightly pissed? Supernatural just looked at this whole point of the, what if a character becomes God, and didn't think, oh, we shouldn't just end it up on something open and being like ambiguous, like, he's gonna change something, and you can believe in Jack because we know Jack. He's a good boy. He has the heart at the right place. He's gonna do something nice, He has the heart at the right place. And then you just see his result, and it's like, jeez, Jack, you're worse. Like, you're just actively stupid. So yeah, this is why I kind of fucking hate the ending to Supernatural. I kind of fucking hate it. And I hope it's obvious why. Oh yeah, the whole ad thing just, that's just so slimy and dumb and fuck. Just fuck. Like, oh hey, we're the biggest corporation in the world. Oh yeah, we're just like raising our prices, and if you want the old price, have like fucking like how much was it? 4 minutes of ads, like per hour. 4 minutes of ads. Like, here's the thing. YouTube is bad, but at the very most little least, YouTube is free to use. If Disney Plus was free and you had to watch ads, I'd be alright with that. I think hell, even Crunchyroll is like, you can watch it for free, like, not with the best resolution and with ads, but you can watch stuff. That's possible. Disney wants you to charge and still display ads. That's just majorly scummy, and yeah, fuck Disney. Just fuck Disney to hell and back. It's a bad company anyway, but like, I kinda hated that the fact, like, when they were like, oh, we're gonna make our own streaming service. Oh, great. There's a lot of good movies and a lot of series they can put on, and they have enough to actually make their own streaming service now, which, yeah, it's kind of obscene and shit and shouldn't be, but still. And yeah, I think one of the reasons I'm wholeheartedly against, you know, Disney actually going into the whole anime business, is also because Disney is just yeah, endless growth. It's just like Disney is an insatiable. It's an insatiable beast. They just nom nom nom, even more property, even more, just endless gluttony. All that into the belly of Disney. But yeah, see, that's the thing about Disney. They're like them making their own streaming service. Fine. It's not like, I mean, there are so many streaming services now that are actually not streaming services, but as you pointed out, basically just cable TV again. It's like, fuck you, I'm not going to pay for Sky and different channels in Germany. That's bullshit. I have Netflix, I have Disney Plus, I have Crunchyroll. I'm already paying for a bunch of things. Like, why does Amazon literally have an anime channel? It's just like, oh, cool. So I'm having Amazon Prime and can watch stuff like The Boys just fine, but not the anime you're licensing. And also, you know what I hate the most about, like, okay, so I should probably beforehand point out that Crunchyroll and Sony are certainly not perfect companies, and they also, you know, bank on a lot of stuff in the anime industry to actually make their money. However, like Netflix, they still at least invest in shows. They make their own shows. You know, they have studios that make shows. This is like at least some of the money they make from the streaming service goes back into the industry, at the very, very least. This is why I fucking hate Disney actually being like, oh yeah, we licensed Bleach. What the fuck did you do? Like, here's the thing. Bleach is an antithesis to Disney. Just like, hear me out. Bleach is a series that went big through the manga, and then when the series came out, it went big through pirating. Like, just let this be clear. The big three were pirated and streamed a lot, you know, on illegal hosting sites and all that. That's just the thing that happened. We don't need to play pretend. It just happened. And still, people became fans. People, you know, made cosplays, made for anime conventions. Like, and I mean small anime conventions, like the small ones that you're just renting the local community center. They're putting up some CRTVs with Smash Bros. Melee. There's like one or two small people in the second room selling some merch that may or may not be licensed, but who knows, honestly. And this is where Bleach went big. We watched Bleach there. And then when Bleach got, you know, fan subs and all that, and we watched those. And also, Bleach is just, it's a mature story, it's an adult story. They're great characters. This is not, you know, your typical corporate Disney stuff. It's messy, it's something else. And then, you know, now that Bleach has some bit of nostalgic value and a bit of, you know, name to itself, then Disney is like, you know what? We ain't gonna let Sony have it on their program. And that sucks. Because Disney never poured a single bit of money into that industry at all. Again, Sony is not the best corporation either. But they at least in some shape or form are involved with the whole thing. Disney is just like, they're maggots. They're like maggots and cockroaches. They're infesting something where they have no place to be. They're cockroaches. They're literally cockroaches. And you can't get them dead. Oh yeah, it's like, oh hey, energy companies just make shitloads of money. Politicians, should we do something against that? Nah. It's obscene. Like, especially if you're, like we're currently here in Germany. Did you actually know that we are literally keeping in France the lights on at the moment? Yep. France actually has like an energy problem now because of their energy decisions, of their decisions they made in the past decades. Who thought about that? Which is so stupid, but I know there are gonna be some people being like, yeah, you're gonna misrepresenting it. Like our nuclear power plants, they're just shut down for maintenance. It's like, listen, buddy, 12 of them are shut down because they're literally broken and fixing is just not that easy. Who are you trying to fool here? And also, so many are not working at full capacity because you know why? Because they don't have enough water. If you've seen, like, due to the heat waves, like the rivers drying up, yeah, this is like water they would need in the nuclear power plant to cool these things down. And they do not have the water. And then you also have these things like, if they have water, but guess what? They cannot really use it. And you know why? There's this thing that happens when you like use water in a power plant, especially something like a nuclear power plant. The water gets hot. And, during normal weather, it's not the worst. But there are, like, some regulations saying that you can't pour water into a river over 23 degrees Celsius because, I mean, what do you think would happen if you put, like, 30 degrees Celsius water into a river? How would the fish feel that? I mean, Aquaman would probably just have a nervous breakdown if you do that. But you know what is currently happening in France? They're doing it anyway. Just 25, 27, 30 degree hot water into the rivers. And it smelled like that boiled fish. So, the absolute best technology to save us. Completely resistant to everything except heat waves. The thing that's gonna increase all the time. Oh, fucking hell yeah. Just don't get me started on the Poles, but like, the Polish people, like, here's the thing. People should wake up for one reason. Polish people, they're run by fascists and they deserve a revolution. No, don't forget the Polish. The Polish is correct. And like, but the French need to really wake up from their Sleeping Beauty dream, because every time I'm hearing people, look, this nuclear power is so good. Like, I should point out here that nuclear power gets a bad rep in many cases that is just purely based on emotional parts, but let's just be clear here. It's very cost intensive to build, it takes way too fucking long to build. There's still a lot of things about, well, you know, it's not heat wave resistant apparently, and they're having big problems with the age of the nuclear power plants, so they're not running at full capacity either. Like, even if they get their cooling water back, and if they get their water back in, you know, autumn, yeah, sure, you can operate at higher capacity, but they're not going back to full capacity. And then everyone's like, but it's like, it's so cheap because they're paying nearly nothing in France. Here's a fun little quiz for you all. What is probably the most likely reason why electricity is cheap in France? A. They literally cracked the code and found a source of energy that is so massive and so reliable that it just produces cheap energy all year round. Or B. The government has literally put a cap on energy prices. By the way, the answer is B. So yeah, if anyone comes to you and raves about the low energy prices in France, it's government intervention. It's not like they're having the better energy power. Like, do you know what actually pushed down energy prices back back in the day? Solar. And you know why I know that? Because I'm from Germany, and I still remember what happened 10 years ago, because over 10 years ago, I think, from like in the early 2000s, we had a government where, well, the Greens were in charge, and they made some bullshit, yes, but they also made subsidies for solar power. The result was Germany had the fastest growing and at the end biggest solar energy industry in all of Europe, and I think even the world. Same with wind energy. We were just building these things left and right. It was glorious. And they started to produce energy. Like, damn, they were good at producing energy. And you know what? The prices went down because literally so much excess energy was just poured into a network, which then made, you know, a bunch of the energy companies very, very nervous because, again, shit, so much energy. So they literally started selling energy off to, you know, other countries, so the prices would stay high in Germany, and then they just literally lobbied the shit out of it, and, you know, solar energy got killed off, and that's a fucking shame. But that happened. Fun fact, you know why we currently can't save up that much gas in Germany? Because A, the few gas-powered energy plants we have, they need to run, so again, no blackout in France. And then we also need to, and then, well, this is why we also put back on our coal. And you know what's also bringing like more power than the nuclear power plants currently in France? Solar panels. Because guess what? Solar panels just kinda ignore heat waves. And they don't rely on cooling water. And even those that still survive, they're like in pretty good condition. Anyway. Oh yeah, classic UK. Amazing. Well, not classic UK, it's just like, I think the UK just can't, like, you know, after 16 years of conservative government in Germany, we kind of realized we should maybe change something about that. But I feel like the UK is just like, oh hey, everything went to shit with the conservatives. Just you know, maybe more conservatism will help us. That's likely going to be it. Oh boy, yeah. And now we're talking about infrastructure and energy prices again. Yippee! Ah well.
Friendlies have destroyed objective Alpha.
There we go. Let's revive you. Let's revive you. There's just so much AI, but I don't care. I'm maybe going to look for a new server with more people, but this is just 3 kills and it counts as full XP, so I'm gonna abuse that. Oh well. You know, online games are really not the same anymore. I mean, I kinda plan to stream Genshin today, but you know, at the prospect of playing some Battlefield, I was just yeah, fuck it, I like Battlefield. I'm just gonna stream it a bit and play it a bit. Then we're gonna you know, go up in the battle pass. You know, final 5 levels. That's just fine. I mean, I'm not gonna do them now,
Any tango who gets near 'em.
but it's still fun to just play a bit and enjoy the game. It's just there's just not many online games nowadays that are like really good. I mean, hell, they tried with Halo Infinite, but like Halo Infinite crashed and burned, and not much like Battlefield out there anyway. But then again, I'm like still okay. Small rant, yeah, small rant. Yeah, I fully agree with that. I fully agree with it. Like it's the same thing we can do in Germany. Like everyone's like, oh, we would need so much energy for everything. And it's like, just place down those solar panels on the rooftops. It's not like we're having so much space in Germany. Like there's so many houses where you can just, you know, slap down some solar panels. Boom, free electricity. Yeah, totally. I mean, there are literally like methods to decarbonize, you know, the production of steel and all that. And everyone's like, oh, we need more energy for that. I'm like, build more wind turbines, build more like. But you know what problems we have here in Germany for that? There's like fucking Bavaria. Because okay, so aside from Bavaria literally making a law that prohibits you know, turbines being built in a certain range from villages, which is like just leaves you with like 0.1% of the whole area you have in Bavaria, which is just like nearly impossible. But you're like, you know, it's conservatives, they do not want wind energy because they're literally that fucking foolish. And then you're like, okay, so, and what's then? Well, then they literally, and I mean literally, have like some NGO, they literally funded some NGOs, whose, their sole purpose is just to sue wind energy plants. Like, this isn't even a joke. There's like, they're literally sitting down and being like, okay, like there's literally a village in Bavaria that tries to become energy, like, they want to, you know, put up some wind turbines and then are like, hey, we're just gonna make it that our village is just producing all the energy it needs on their own, no problem. Completely autonomous from energy. And you'd be like, that's great! And they only need like 10 wind energy plants and some solar panels? That's amazing! And you know what then happens? Then a quote-unquote nature, nature protection NGO comes up and it's like, oh, this is, like killing birds, which literally didn't. Like other, like nature protection NGOs were like, it literally will not do that. It's literally not there. Dude, you're just making fucking shit up. But they're like, no, and they're swing. Then everyone is like, oh, fuck. Oh yeah, enjoy your burger. Have some live burger. Burgers are amazing. But like, yeah, they are literally just suing all the time against wind energy, and it's dumb. It's just so dumb. And like, this is legal. I hate it. Like, I mean, you know what? When I think about direct action, I sometimes think like there are certain NGOs that are just literally faces, like front faces for conservatives that just should get some of their that should just get put in more of the line, like literally getting bullied out of the conversation because they will not edit. They're just here to disrupt. And that is, how should I put it in best words? Their disruption is literally killing the planet? I mean, we kind of agree on that, right? Their disruption is literally killing the planet. And maybe we should all just do something about that. Oh, by the way, carbon capture is like a total scam. It's, some people say it works, but it literally isn't working. They're like a bunch of test programs, and they've been shut down literally because they don't work. They're just taking way too much energy and they don't work. Sorry to have to say, but like carbon capture is it's not working, and you know what the depressing thing is? We've known it for decades, but you know what? Then you have some people just be like, some comments like, yeah, you know what? But we could put up carbon capture to like literally greenwash our company, and everyone will just buy that, and then you're like, wait, they can't be that ghoulish. They can't just literally sit down and be like, oh hey, we're just gonna make some really ghoulish front for our shittiness and our and just greenwash our CO2 emissions, and then you like read the documents. They're like, oh yeah, they're literally doing just that. You're just like sitting there, and you know what you realize with age? This is one realization you kinda
Let's move.
yeah, sorry, it's like, I mean, it sounds reasonable, and let's just be like that. Carbon capture works to a degree, but it's just inefficient as hell. It's like, same with e-fuels. On a technical level, they work. It's like, oh, you're making a fuel that's just CO2 neutral. Yeah, that technically works. Here's the problem: they're so inefficient. Like from the energy cost balance, it's just not worthwhile. Like there are companies in Australia and other countries that put up literally carbon capture stuff, and it just didn't work to the capacity that they, like, I think, captured the carbon from one coal plant. Yeah, there's like so much that should actually, like, it's just so dumb that we still rely on so much dirty energy. Actually, it's just amazingly shitty, and I don't know how to put it in any other way. And yeah, the EU currently is not making themselves look good. I have to say that. I have to honestly say that. Oh, kaleidoscope. Yeah, that sounds fun. I wonder what, like, I mean, at least some of the, regulations. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, frankly, at least the war in Ukraine kinda accelerated the whole, accelerated a lot of things in Germany.
South Korea. Key to our operations in the area.
What is wrong today? Like, usually, VC Face is just not being like all the time, you're angry now, you're angry now. I'm not angry. What is going on?
Hold your ground and fall back to the next sector if you're overrun. We need to make this attack too costly for the Russians to sustain.
Oh well. But yeah, that's totally right. Like, less dependence on Saudi Arabia. I am very down with that. I am super down with that. I am super duper down with that, actually. And yeah, in some case of you know what the most ironic part about this whole thing is with the being independent from Saudis? You see, in the 70s there was, in Germany, there was this chancellor called Helmut Schmidt. And he wasn't a bad chancellor, I would say, still a socialist and all that. But he was like, we should get independent from gas and oil from Saudi Arabia because, well, the OPEC always made some big time fuckery, even back in the day. And you know what he built for that? What he invested in that? Something called Nord Stream 1. If you're remembering, this is kind of a pipeline going through Eastern Europe up to Russia. Because back in the day, he was like, hey, why should we literally get our our gas from the Arabian autocrats when we have like an autocratic regime with gas just right down our alley? And also the whole thing with what he said, if you're trading with someone, you're not going to war with them, and there was like this whole Cold War thing going on. And listen, I'm not gonna put the blame on him for putting us into this situation, because this was the 70s, and it was probably not the worst idea to have like connections to that's a name. Well, when someone is just screaming, they're probably cheating. So like back in the day, it was like not really the dumbest thing to be like, hey, what if we actually make some trade relations with the Soviet Union? Because
Objective captured and secured.
I know they've always been depicted as the big giant evil of the world, but they really weren't. They were just they were autocratic regimes, sure. But I mean, there was at least some things, and frankly, again, a few like 2 decades later, we actually vote for another socialist government. I mean, okay, they were neoliberals and they kind of fucked us over, and fuck Schröder, like literally, So okay, here's the most amazing thing you need to know. So basically, this whole thing with Nord Stream 1 and now Nord Stream 2 is like, basically the Socialist Party of Germany kinda always made those relationships with Russia on gas, and they kinda had this idea, if we're trading with them and on good relations, that's good, as long as the Cold War exists. And man, no, probably not the worst idea, but yeah, I'm not gonna judge about a lot of things in that regard. Then you're like, okay, we're here sitting there, and the Soviet Union is gone now, and they still keep relations with Russia. And no, actually gets like very hilarious. Because you see, Schröder was Chancellor. And after he got ousted with, like, I think, like, he got voted, not only voted out, like, there was, what does it call if you don't believe in them? Yeah, like, and then, you know, he then just becomes a part of Gazprom, and it's like, oh, that happened. Wow. And now we're literally, like, in this whole situation, and everyone is like, everyone in the SPD is like, hey, buddy, you kinda should denounce Putin. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna denounce my buddy. And you're like, whoa, someone is knee-deep in the Russia money, I have to say. And you would think that Schröder, you know, Schröder's government actually, you know, deepened the whole, you know, being dependent on Russian gas. Ironically, no. That was Merkel. Like, if you're like looking back at the past 2 decades, the one government that actually got us into this shit was Merkel. Ironically. And I mean, literally ironically. For Schröder basically being a Putin shill and working for Gazprom, his government was the government that actually subsidized, you know, solar panels and like solar power and wind power, and we built it under them. Like, the whole reason we still have a solar and wind sector in Germany that is that big and can help France out now with their nuclear energy is literally because of the you know, SPD Green government we had like around 2004, like 2004. That's them. So yeah. There you go. Die. Oh god, my aim is for shit today. Dun, 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 dun. But we're kind of getting pretty wrecked here on Kaleidoscope. Damn. Oh well. And there we go, some healing down. Oh well.
Just lost control of an objective.
I'm reloading!
Fun fact, I mean, okay, I know you mistyped, and yeah, he's not a russet potato, but actually, I felt like russet in that case. My brain actually, in the first instance, went to a mixed word of Russia and asset. So he's a russet, a Russian asset. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's not correct, but still, that's what my brain thought what you wrote, and I kind of like that idea. I really kind of like that idea. A Russian acid, a russet. That's great. That's actually a good. That's actually a good word. I'm not gonna lie. But then again, that also makes him a russet potato, Russian acid potato, because well, we Germans are the potatoes. We're just. I mean, ironically, we're called the potatoes, even though there's Chile and like so many other Southern American countries that have way more potatoes than we do, but fuck it, we got that name, and it's making the Almans like mad at shit if you call them a potato. So I'd say that's a win. That's a win. By the way, if you're wondering what Alman means, it's like, I think in Arabic it's German, from Alemannia. So yeah, basically, fun fact, this is the word that like gets to. Oh, racist Russian fascist. Yeah. That makes sense. Like racist is a Russian fascist, and russet is a Russian acid. That makes sense, and I would probably say Schröder is more like a Russian acid because he's just kind of an idiot. He's probably not a fascist, but he's like knee deep in the money, and it's just like, I'm in the money now. Fuck it. That's more what I think he is. I mean, you're living in Scotland, so I know if this whole there's this joke in Germany, like the first foreign language a German learns is German, because we have so many dialects. So there's literally a joke about you need to actually learn German first, which is not half wrong, honestly. Like, if you're like actually speaking a dialect, it's not that. You kind of need to learn German first. No, what? I mean, I'm basically Denglish all the time nowadays, and I don't know if I'm a failure to my people. Then again, I don't know who my people are. Again, when you live in Germany, we're just so many culture groups, and we hate each other's guts, and I kind of hate the idea of. I mean, I think here's something I would. I kind of hate, because that kind of got lost in the whole nationalism thing. That there is no Germany. There's more like Germans are a subset of cultures that are just relatively aligned with in language and cultural identity. But there's no German identity. There's no German nationality. No German there's a German nationality, yes, but like German culture, German identity. That's not there. There are just German cultures and German languages. We're all plural here. There's just no one singular big thing like France, where there's like this giant. Like, for fuck's sake, if there are. Like, Germany is this one country where currently some people just are like, oh, all these new words from English are like killing the German language. Or, oh, we can't just, and then just insert some queerphobic, transphobic shit. Because, fuck those. And then you're just sitting there having just the slightest bit of German, knowing about Germany as a language. And you're like, hey, don't we even have words from Japanese in our language now? Like, I know some people are, like very, weird when I point that out, because they're like, oh, so with the whole youth anime culture and all that. And it's like, no, literally, like when there's this very common word that especially elder people use called bonze, which just means rich person. It's actually coming from a Japanese word. Like, literally, Germany adapted Japanese words into the common language like decades ago, hundreds of years ago. Germany is a language that's literally built to absorb other languages. Like, what do you think this language is made for? We're sitting at the crossroads of so many languages. Like, here's the thing. We have like the whole Hanse, we had the whole Hanse going on, and Vikings and all that. What do you think? There came people up from, you know, northern Italy, Lombardy, you know, the Mediterranean. So you have like the influence of Romanian, like, no, not Roman, like Roman languages. So, you know, French and Italian. Italian is the word. Oh my god. French and Italian and Spanish. Then you had like the Nordic languages influence. Like there's that, like we had trade with the English because, you know, North Sea, the Hanse, we shipped over to your islands. And then we had trade with, like, you know, the Nordic languages with Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland. Because, well, Baltic Sea, big trade hub. We've been there. And then there's, you know, the Slavic languages, because there's, like, you know, Poland. I mean, hell, Prussia once went up, like, nearly to the Russian border. If you're looking at, I think, is it called Kaliningrad today? I don't know anymore, but, like, there's a city that was basically the most northern part of Prussia / Germany once. Like, Germany went, like, German cultures went way up over this, like, Slavic territory. Like, a lot of contact with Slavic languages. And there's, like, and then also we had contact with, I mean, Hungary. Okay, then again, Hungary is like, is a language that literally has no connection to other languages. It's literally like some horse people just were like, we're gonna settle here, and then we just never adapt other languages, and so they're just having their own language to this day. Oh yeah, Hungary is in there, and yeah, like Germany just, like the German culture is just set at the absolute crossroads of so many trade hubs. Yeah, I mean, there were so many people that went through, I mean, when the Brits say, like, oh, we're British, and it's like, you mean Normannic? Because I'm pretty certain some French Vikings once invaded you, and they're pretty, it's pretty well, I'd say, for them. Oh yeah, we brought the Saxons. So, but yeah, this is just one thing why you can see that the German language is actually very adaptable. Like, I mean, here's the thing. If you ever wondered why we have so many articles like Daddy does, you'd usually would be like, that's kind of stupid. Why is the German language, like, gendered that much? But honestly, one of the reasons is simply language flow. And all those variations of them are simply there for one reason. So if we adapt new words from another language, we can basically very fluently just integrate them into our language. I mean, sure, they usually change in how you speak them with time, but it's actually super easy to integrate English words, to integrate Japanese words. The German language is super adaptive, and that actually makes it so fascinating to learn about. Oh god, now we're talking about languages here. That I'm not even a linguist. That's like, what the fuck was that? There's so many other people I know that are linguists, so maybe I can actually get those on the stream one day, and then we have a true talk about languages. But yeah, it's a fun language. then again, I feel like there are way too many misconceptions about German as a language. When I'm hearing like people make jokes about the German language, I'm usually kind of pissed off because they're always like, every time people talk about the German language, it's always portrayed as, oh, they're talking so hard, like a Nazi, with the Z and Z, and we're like very strong in our pronunciation, and we eat the sausage, the Wurst for the breakfast. But like this is literally not how Germany is. Like, I mean, listen, I get a chuckle out of someone doing like a Nazi impression because for me this is just a completely wrong way to speak German. But it's just like, holy shit, Germany is actually like it's not even a hard language. I mean, hard not in, hard to learn, but more hard in pronunciation and all that. It's actually a very soft language. Does I find the song Rule Britannia kinda, oh yikes. Yeah! Yeah, I mean, the whole Britons never shall be slaves is like, I mean, not to mention that you kinda had a lot of slavery going on in your founding phase. Like that was just a thing on the island and just never went away. And a lot of people joined. Like the Norwegians and the French. And it was just all a big runabout over the Celts, and they were like, the Celts were just held as slaves. That was just a thing on the British islands. I mean, Dublin was like a famous slave harbor actually back in the day, like back in the Viking Age. So yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, the German is not really a hard language, I would say. I mean, I just lately I kind of realized why one girl said to me, I'm actually pronouncing Bayonetta very cute. It just kind of dawned on me back then, but like, oh wait, I'm pronouncing it the German way. I mean, the English way would be Bayonetta. That's like way louder and way harder, while in Germany it's Bayonetta. It's a very soft A, because we usually have soft A's. Like, I mean, you can make German sound hard all the time if you like, let's just say, Apfel. You can say Apfel, but in reality everyone should say Apfel. Like, you see the difference? Do you hear the difference? It's like, it's just so simple. Just be like, you can, I mean, I don't know, write the German sentence and I can show you how soft actually the German language is. I mean, gladly our national anthems are... Okay, I have to point out, I would say the national anthem of the GDR is actually like really good, and I kinda wish we could have kept that one. Like, Auferstanden aus Ruinen is legitimately good, and I feel it captured the whole idea of either West or East Berlin, like East or West Germany, way better. You know, the whole striving to be something better after the war and everything, and Nazi Germany. That's actually a good song. While when you like look at like, you know, the Deutschlandlied, it's I don't know what to say about the Deutschlandlied other than I'd say it gets a bad rap, but in reality, no, we still have the from the BRD. So, you know, the Republic, German Republic, not the German Democratic Republic. So it's still the West. Like, our national anthem is still the third. The third. What the fuck is Strophe again? Wait a second. Stanza? What? No. No. Wrong. Verse! What the hell? Yeah, it's the... it's still the third verse of the Deutschland-Lied. Or, das Lied der Deutschen, which is like a really, really old song, like made in 1841, I think, on Heligoland. So, yeah. Here's the thing. The thing with unification is less that German unification was less a unification and more just a takeover. Like, this was not East and West Germany became Germany again. It was more like East Germany was merged into West Germany, and then there was just Germany left. So, just keep that in mind. There's actually like big debate about if that even was. I mean, it was technically legal, but there's like a lot of debate about that because there were not many people actually on board with that back in the day. And the whole thing for unification was astroturfed. Like, literally, there's just for context, there was this slogan when people in the East protested. They said, "Wir sind das Volk," which is basically just like we're the people. Pretty simple one. We're the people. We demand that we have right over our we have the right over our country, all that. Because fun fact, most people in East German prisons and also people being against the East German government were actually socialists. Who would have thought that socialists would have wanted more democracy? So, they were kind of pissed at the whole thing about the unification. I just cite one I actually spoke with, who also was an inmate in one of the GDR prisons. He said, like, back in the day, when unification came, the Western politicians came with checkbooks into the East, and they literally bought off the the activists and the political activists there, and were like, "Hey, can you just they came to him and were like, you get a lot of money, you can just ditch your jeans, your broken jeans and your long beard, and trim your hair, look good, and we pay you finally for working for us." And he was like, fuck this shit. Because, a lot of them were also punks. I think you can put kind of one and one together. And yeah, a lot of them were kind of pissed that, the West basically bought out Eastern politicians and then just went for unification because Helmut Kohl wanted to be re-elected. Yeah, fun fact, the whole unification of Germany was actually kind of an election scam from Helmut Kohl, so... this is fucking depressing. Well, could it be that the name Soviet Union and them declaring themselves as socialists was just a front, so they can actually, they can trick idiots into believing they're actually, okay, sorry. I should probably point out that most Soviet autocratic regimes were more left socially than, like, most democratic Western nations, like, hands down. When the East fell, and unification happened, so many women lost just pages upon rights and economic stability. Like, here's the thing: when you like you just could just had like abortions in the East, and you also had like even then you also always had an apartment, and there was care for your children. There was always a kindergarten. There was always a place in school. There were always clubs in your region. Like if you were a single mother in the GDR, the state literally took every responsibility from you, and they were like, if you want to be with your child, you can be with your child. If you want to work, you can work wherever you want. You can study and all that. We will take care of everything. And I have had like a lot of teachers that actually came from the GDR, and they were like they missed that because also majority women with families. Yeah, guess why they were pretty pissed that all that was just gone after unification. Because it literally was not really unification, it was more like, hostile takeover. This is what they lost. This is why I will always say, even though those were autocratic regimes and people rightfully protested them, rightfully spoke out against them, rightfully demanded more democracy, they were still more left, and you saw that in their democratic movements, that they said that those people wanted more socialism and more democracy and not, well, being integrated into Western nations. Yeah, I will not play that down. It's just like, I think I kind of should point it out that there were at least more left when it comes to, social policies, but yeah, they were totally autocratic. Like, there's no discussion. Like, even when I talk about my old teachers, they were all like, yeah, we're totally for, the social stability and social programs and all that, but they were very open that they do not want the autocratic government. This is literally the thing that people in the GDR wanted to go away. The autocratic government, not the socialism. What? Let's try find a new Rush server again. Oh, El Alamein, nice. And actually, a server with people. That's very nice. What is creative destruction, if I may ask? I actually have no idea what creative destruction means. Or, maybe I know it, but it's not ringing a bell. Oh damn, all seats occupied. Okay, there we go. So this is one of the remake maps, if anyone is wondering.
Push the enemy back sector by sector and
I'm looking so angry all the time today. I feel like my camera is like calibrated completely wrong. This is not good. Come on, you can't just be all seats occupied all the time.
I need a ride. Can I come over? Oh, hello, new viewer. You know, I feel like streaming that late does kind of put off a few people watching. Oh, time to revive. Dun, 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 dun. Our reinforcements are getting scarce.
Nope, nope. Damn it. Damn it. Okay. Sort of like the process where competition causes the closing of old industries and business that are no longer profitable as the resource be used for more productive activities. I wouldn't say that. Like, I would not describe to the whole idea of competition driving better results, because truth be told, we've actually seen most of the time the opposite. I mean, let's just be real. Capitalism is kinda broken, and sometimes the whole idea of competition... fun fact, no. I mean, I think there should be pointed out that the Soviet Union mainly fell because they were pushed into basically an arms race with the West under Reagan. Frankly, the thing is that the Soviet Union routinely produced states in the Soviet Union produced amazing technological stuff, like just for example, there's this one GDR company called Foron. Foron was actually like a leading company, because back in the day with Greenpeace together and they were one of the first companies that actually mass-produced FCKW free fridges. So good ones, good fridges, like really good fridges. And those were like they were sought after, like in the West and in the East, like literally West, like in West Germany, and I think even across Europe and in US, a lot of people were like, oh shit, we want to have those fridges, like especially for labs and all that, because those were like, they were more reliable, they were better, and this was a company that again was at the spear tip of research, because frankly their thing literally was because they kind of had full employment and actually secure jobs and all that. For them this was more like we actually need to improve and also have
all the time we have someone working on scientific progress. While what the answer of the Western companies was, well, they made a giant letter, like an open letter, declaring those fridges would just catch fire all the time and are not safe. That was a lie. That was literally a lie. Like, for they just made shitty fridges all the time, and because the East German company made a better fridge, and everyone loved it, and Greenpeace promoted it and all that, they literally smeared them. And fun fact, after unification, because they literally, like, those companies. So there was this thing called the Treuhand, with the idea of, we're gonna get all the state-owned companies into private hands based on how much they're worth it. And guess who made the evaluation of the of how much worth companies in the East were? Literally the private companies that would buy them. There were some private people from the East that tried to actually buy the companies and make them into worker co-ops, but you know what? The Treuhand, again, led by rich Western companies, literally prohibited that. So yeah, okay, so I think they have some interesting videos. I think Tristan Johnson made 2 of those on the second channel. But here's the fun fact: planned economies work. Like, they work actually really, really, really well. There's just a thing, and okay, so you know why we know that? Because of Walmart and Amazon. Because Walmart and Amazon, I mean, they literally have. If you would actually sit down and convert their money and what they're making, they would be a small economy. And also, what you need to keep in mind, they are not operating with a competitive mindset. Amazon and Walmart are planned from the top to the bottom and have like very clear chains and massive amount of data of what needs to go where. And this is one of the key reasons why a lot of the problems in the early Soviet republics happened. They didn't happen, because the system was laid out to actually collect information, distribute it and make rational decisions based on that. It was more like, the great communist leaders wanted heavy industry to produce tanks, so they built a heavy industry to make tanks. And then there was also just how do I put it like that? There was one really, really grave mistake. So maybe you follow me. You can follow me on that. So they always had the idea that if your company is going well, you can just pull people from the if you can pull from the factory, because if your factory is overproducing anyway, fine, that's great. But also you get resources allocated to you if you're underperforming. And if you are now at that moment thinking, wait, isn't that just like kind of set up, like meant to help those industries in the Soviet Union that have fallen behind, but kind of encourages everyone at the top of those factories and so on to have everyone slightly underperforming, but not too much? Yes, That was one of the main problems. Not the whole oh, they didn't fix that yet. Not the whole oh, the system has some baked-in flaws. No, they literally okay, it had a baked-in flaw, but this was nothing based on socialism, because again, socialism isn't the Soviet Unions. The Soviet Unions weren't socialist. They had progressive ideas in their but they're state capitalist autocrats. They weren't socialists. I have to point that out. Socialism, as Karl Marx described it himself, and everyone else, is the idea of a stateless, classless society where the workers own the means of production. In the Soviet Union, the workers did not own the means of production. It's not socialism, literally. But when you then look at co-ops, across the Western world, across the Eastern world, co-ops usually overperform. Funny that. Well, even though everyone's like, oh, they're not profitable because they're not squeezing every single penny out of their workers, and because that's what profit literally is. How much money do you make, which ends up in cutting corners. But literally, co-ops are super effective. Actually, they work so well. Guess why so many co-ops get shut down and folded into private companies? Because they're literally a threat. There's a reason why even though the workers. Here's a fun thing that happens with the Treuhand in the GDR. The Treuhand had this whole scheme going on about of undervaluing East German companies, and then saying that you see, East Germany was just completely broken and nothing worked, and they were underperforming, when in reality they had completely fine industry and everything was going well. And then so they made a really laughably low price. So the workers were like, okay, you know what? The price is that low, we can actually buy this now, shouldn't we? We're just gonna make a worker co-op out of it. That would be swell. We like that. And then they just said no. And sold everything very cheaply to just, a few Western companies. That's it. That's what happened. But yeah, back to planned economy. The biggest problem was that the Soviet Union's planned economy was literally not made to actually have giant amounts of data and actually not intercompany the fields didn't work to it was just scrambled. They made their own shit all the time. This was actually ironically, there was competition inside the Soviet Union, not cooperation. And as always, cooperation beats competition. It's all the time if someone does that, it's just literally glossed over, because if you look at Walmart and Amazon, you have giant amounts of data where shit has to go and where stuff is needed, and they get it there on time usually. This is the thing we need for that. But also, there's this company, if we want to talk about how competition actually killed stuff. There's this company, I think it was Sears. Actually, old big company, was pretty famous in the US. I think it was Sears. I'm pretty sure it was Sears, because they're dead now. And see, they got a new CEO, a new owner, and he was like, you know what? Competition is amazing. The free market of ideas is actually, this is just gonna save everything. This is gonna be so good. And they literally split up all the departments to be on their own because he literally thought if you're gonna set up everything to be in competition with each other, and having to hire their own marketing, having to do everything their own, and don't cooperate. So the whole marketplace of ideas, the whole free market thing, put on a company the neoliberal wet dream, and the company crashed and burned. They literally fucking did. It's not even funny because, you literally drained resources from each other, from parts of something that should cooperate. Like, it's not even. It's just so logical if you think about it. But yeah, this is why I'd say cooperation is like vastly superior. And don't get me started on Chile. Like Salvador Allende's Chile, and how they literally in like 70s Chile literally had cyber communism. I know this might sound so very everyone's like, what cyber communism? But they made that. They literally made a system where with early computers, and they had like a whole connection system through the country. You were like all the companies were still autonomous, which was again pretty important because the workers in the companies usually knew, and the factories usually know best how they would work. But still, all the data would flow in. How much do we produce? Where do we need what? And it was just a constant stream of information to economists and like 10 economists in one room, like sitting in like 70s egg chairs, being able to look at all the data and going like, we need more bread, but we have like an overproduction in wheat, so we can tweak the supply chain in our country and produce more bread in easier way and better ways. They actually kind of wanted to make the system. They actually wanted to make the system that, like, in every household there should be a dial. Like, literally, in every household in Chile, there should be a dial, and you can just turn the dial to signal how how happy or so you are, like, currently with the political situation in the country. So there's literally like a live, but was literally supposed to be a live bar, a live feed about how happy is the population now, directly to a central, which is interesting, but also like. I mean, I would say in the digital age that there would someone on TikTok be like, let's just make the happiness bar rave party, and then everyone would just be like, wit, up down, up down, up down. Everyone in the data center would be like, well, this country has just mood swings every minute. Amazing. I think Chile also elected socialists. They actually, they rejected the whole thing because. Fun fact, Salvador Allende was so popular, the US tried to, the US couped him because he was a socialist who was very, very popular. They helped truck companies, they tried to make a strike, but, the truckers drove anyway, and also the, centralized organization with the whole cyber communism actually helped out so much during the time where the private truck companies just try to try to stop the country. So yeah, that shit works. It works really well, and we should actually just use it more in the digital age. But yeah, basically, bottom line for Chile was sadly that the USA was like, okay, that's enough communism now. You're actually getting way too good at it. Here's a coup, and now you're getting a fascist dictator. And that was Pinochet. Fun fact, did you know that Okay, so like literally the interesting part about Pinochet is like you had like a bunch of like nearly like you had like a bunch of years where it's literally like, oh hey, Chile actually the economy grew and everything was better and socialism worked, and then Pinochet came and I kid you not, Pinochet's dictatorship where they literally slit open like killed people, slit open their guts and threw them into the ocean to just tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people died under Pinochet. And you know what he implemented with the help of some Americans? Neoliberalism. They literally said that. And also, I mean, he dismantled, cyber communism because, of course, he did. And yeah, that was the end to it because, well, they were too good at communism, and thus the USA did a little couping and then installed a dictator. But yeah, Chile kind of voted for a new socialist, and yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean that sounds like a meme, but honestly, work sucks, and frankly, we do not even need to work that much. Like, think about it. We can actually automate so much of our lives right now. We usually just need something to control it, not like that's most of the thing. Some control, someone looking over it, and it would work. I mean, I know I wrote about it a while ago, but we can automate already so much. It's not even funny. And even then, we have enough, like, okay. So, I guess I'm whipping out my anarchist side again, but there's this book called The Conquest of Bread from Pyotr Kropotkin, and like over 100 years ago, he actually sat down and did the math. Like he was actually like a scientist, and I think he actually like did some pretty big thing. Was it in chemistry? But like he was good with math. I can say that. Like he actually sat down and did the math, and with the technology of like 1900 or so, he came to the conclusion that to keep society running and actually produce stuff so everyone was just living happily, everyone just actually needed to work like 5 hours per week. 5 hours. If we just split it fairly, everyone just needed to do 5 hours per week to have everything essential going for them, and that's it. And like with our current technology, we could automate like so. Like for example, if someone is like, oh hey, if someone is like, oh hey, okay, so what about public transport? Well, we have trains. We could just build more trains, and they're like literally automatic driving systems for trains since the 60s. Honestly, they still work to this day because automatic driving on a on a train track is not hard. It's actually very, very, very easy to do. Like stupidly easy, frankly. Because it's just a rail, and so you just would need to have some people learned in engineering back at the depot, and they just could be there in some hour shifts and be like, oh, something needs to be repaired and all that, and boom. I mean, probably wouldn't be like 5 hours depending on how big the problem is, but frankly, it wouldn't be much work just having some engineer being like, okay, I'm just gonna fulfill my share of community work. And like each Saturday, I'm just gonna be at the depot and watch over the trains that come in and all that. That's not much work. That's literally not much work. If you like do 1 or 2 hour, like 1 or 2 days of hard work per week, that's still not much. And there's actually like we also, I mean, you also already have machines that can stitch, like not stitch, they can sew shirts. Like, if you always be like, hey, it's kind of sucks that we have so many, like there are so many of our clothes are coming from sweatshops in India and Bangladesh, and you know it's not good. Well, cheer up. There's technically a machine that could just sew your clothes, and just someone needs to watch over it, and you know maybe package the clothes later on. But because human blood sacrifices are cheaper, this is why capitalism just is like, no. We rather have everything fueled with human misery and exploitation than just buying some machines now that might be a bit more expensive to operate. Most efficient system, by the way. Great. Yeah, fuck fast fashion. It's so dumb. But like, just think about that. This is the thing with automation and why I'm literally against, why I'm anti-capitalist. Which is probably why I probably might just be affiliate one day if, you know, the legal stuff, if I can actually accept it for, I can't accept it for legal reasons now. I kind of don't want to lose my house, just put it like that. But yeah, if one day I might make enough money off of this and I can become affiliate and you can all have all the fun features like collecting some points to make me do dumb stuff on stream. Yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, fuck fast fashion. It's like so dumb. This is the thing. This is the thing about capitalism that's just destroying so much, because like automation is in direct conflict with, it's just in direct conflict with the whole idea of capitalism, because okay, so basically just to be clear here, I'm kinda, you know, unemployed at the moment, and one of the reasons, if I want to be affiliate, I kind of need to, you know, do tech stuff and all that. And in Germany, this is basically the equivalent of being like, I need to like write myself in like as my own company, and I'm not making remotely enough money on that on my own that I would do that, and you know, else I would just get, yeah, no money, or like just barely money, and that's not good. So yeah, legal reasons, and they suck. Fuck this system, by the way. Fuck the system that implemented that neoliberals implemented. It's just grossly inhumane, and people should just be able to make all the money they want to do without, you know, being forced to literally take another job that is just literally shitty. This is like, I'm legally forced to not make this, to take this step to, you know, become affiliate and work on something here on Twitter. Else I would ruin it. No, free marketplace of ideas. Even though it's kind of trying to force me into, well, being shit. Yeah, that's the German system. I could become affiliate if I just accept a shitty job now and work my ass off for some asshole. Then I could just do that. But yeah, no. That's like, I mean, yeah, that's the thing with work. I mean, I'd say some people are like, oh, you're egocentrical because you're saying you want to, you know, stream and make money off of that instead of doing real work, but frankly, I've went... Okay, this is gonna be personal, and I think content warning for like a lot of dark shit. I've went through a lot of things in the past decade, and frankly, I mean, it's just say it like that. It's not that there aren't jobs out there I wouldn't do, but there are too many jobs that people want to force onto me that I despise with everything I know. I've come to the point where I'm just like, I want to do something that is at least valuable to people. And I know it can mean a lot. I just realized, like, the last years, playing D&D with people is hard work. Like, I've sometimes worked literally through the whole week to get campaigns running for the weekend. And I like that. Because when I play with people and I hear them being happy, I hear them smile, I know I fulfilled a part in their lives that they wouldn't get otherwise. It's like a piece of being socializing with other people. It's like building social spaces. Also with streaming. I personally do not get much out of streaming myself, even though, lately I'm watching a few streamers here and there. But I know for like a bunch of people that watch streams, this is good because, yeah, you have jobs and it sucks. And I think if I can at least provide digitally a space where you can, vent and rant about the shitty state of the UK government and the Tories, and maybe learn one or two things about the world with my limited knowledge and my... the things I know, and I hope I'm not like... I always try to be as clear and honest about as much as I know. And I hope I'm not like manipulating here, because I feel like I'm probably like relatively convincing, and I always try to be as accurate to my knowledge, but that's the thing, everything I say is just to my knowledge. Oh, damn. I already have the mastery. Yeah, if I provide that, that's also nice. And also there are people in my surroundings I want to care for, and honestly, if I just now took a shitty job for some asshole I will never meet that just profits off of my labor, and I need to, work 8 hours every day, like from Monday to Saturday and all that, I couldn't be there for the people I love, and the people I love need me at the moment. So, I'm sorry. Even if someone like, oh, but you could make more money if you actually took a job and all that. I'm like, I could, but frankly, being there for people will just be a higher priority for me, always. And if I learned one thing the past decade, then it's that. And I will never gonna stop feeling like that. So yeah, streaming for me is also kind of just, it's more meaningful. It's just more meaningful, it's more interesting, it's more human than sorting boxes. I've worked at a factory once, and it wasn't even bad work. It was like a holiday job, and I made like some €1,000 per month, and still living with parents. It was still like, it was good money. It's good money. I met great people there. Like, they were fun and nice. You could talk with them there. But here's the thing. If one thing... I like the people in at that factory. Like, I had even the great chef. Like, okay, there were 2 chefs and one was amazing, and like, I mean, I once went to the job and I didn't feel that well and probably was a bit ill, and everyone around me was just like, just you know, just work. It's not that much. And he like looked at me and was like, you're feeling a bit ill. You go home and don't infect anyone here. Like, he was a great guy, and I met other great people there. But that job broke me somewhere in between, deep inside of me, because even if even if it paid really well for me, even if it was not even the worst job. It was like, oh hey, you clean some, it was sometimes cleaning machinery, which was just, you know, it was just not the hardest job. It was sorting inventory. It was like helping sort and renovate some, you know, areas with documents and all that. At the end of the day, I was in so deep depressions. So the content warning now. I've actually went suicidal again. I mean, I've been suicidal for a bunch of reasons in my time, but this job broke me because it was so meaningless. I mean, yeah, sure. I met great people. Like for 1 week, I literally worked together with like an old grandma, basically, who came always came over from France, and she was great, and we had like great conversations. But still, I've never felt so meaningless in my life. So not in charge over my own decisions and body and mind. And I know, again, there are people working in these institutions that can do that. They're fine with it, and good for them. But every time I'm hearing like, you should find work, you should get back to work, you should work, I think back to that factory, and I realized again just how much I cannot do that again. Because I do not want to be suicidal again. I do not want to feel like an absolute meaningless meat lump just used by some fucking corporate entity I will never meet in my life, that never ever even fucking will meet me. And you know what? You know how my job ended there? I had a contract for 3 months. 3 months. 3 months, relatively well-paying job. I worked 2 months because turns out I worked too good and too efficient, and everything was done in 2 months, and then they were like, well, we do not need you anymore. You don't get to do your last month. Fuck you. And that was me working at a factory. I fucking despise it in hindsight. Oh no, that wasn't illegal. Like, they made like, it was just, you know, a small like job people take on the side, so they can just be like, oh yeah, everything is done. We can just cut your last month. That's not illegal. I mean, I was kind of happy it was just 2 months because yeah, again, I went suicidal and that's not really nice. But yeah. What can I say? I was kind of glad it was over, but also it was shitty. It was just shitty. Which is why I'm always saying, also think why I'd say the capitalist model is bullshit. Because literally, you're not, like, it's not even promoting you to work hard. Again, I finished all my work in 2 months. I even got more work to do because I finished my work way faster than I anticipated. No, they didn't. I got 2 months of pay, which was like a bunch of €1,000, which was, not bad. But I didn't get 3 months. And that was the end of it.
The enemy is approaching. Hold the line. Оставьте меня здесь. Не подходите.
Well, that went depressing today. I kind of wanted to talk about MMOs and how they're shit nowadays and got destroyed, but I guess we're talking about old old job stories and how living in a capitalist society just breaks you because, yeah. Like, I mean, it's not that I can't work together with people. I've had a bunch of jobs actually in my life, and I just can't do with hierarchies, honestly. Like, I mean, here's the thing: if there's like a great boss and you're really on good terms, cool, yeah. But here's the thing: they're still your boss. I'm also one reason why I am an anarchist, because frankly, unjust hierarchies are just utterly destructive. It's like, okay, another story. Another holiday job I once had was I worked at a gardening company, like a small gardening company from a friend of my father. Honestly, again, not bad people. I had like a good actually build up like a friendship with one of the guys working there. He was a Kevin, but he was the model, the friendly asshole Kevin. So you actually could have hang out with him, and he was actually nice. Like, well, it was a fresh air from having to deal with mostly just asshole Kevins and the one very weird are you an asshole or not Kevin, but he was still like one flavor of asshole Kevin. It was just a very, very unspecific. He was like asshole fluid. You just switch between states of asshole. That's just how the Kevins are. I'm not making the rules. That's just the law of Kevins. But yeah, great people. But here's the thing I kind of noticed again. When someone was the boss, they ordered you to do something in a specific way because they're the boss. And there was one guy there, and he was just... This guy had such ego problems. Like, he was literally... He knew he had a safe place, and he could, like, bully around his underlings. And he did that. Like... guy was so uncomfortable to be around because you knew he always expected you when you were on the payroll of the company. Like he's your supervisor. He's the guy at the top. You listen to him, or else he will try to, just get you out of the job and all that. He was that kind of shit, just complete shithead. And you know what? He wasn't even that good at his job. Like, usually he just, offloaded, people at some places and were like, you need to do that and that in this way, and then, the guys I work with were like, yeah, that's bullshit, we're just gonna do it in a way easier way, and we have free time. Or like, there was also this thing that we took care of a local football place, and we were supposed to, get weeds out of there and all that. And it was actually a sunny and hot day, and there was not much shade there, but there was one place of shade on the side. And after we worked a few hours through the whole field, been pretty good at it, we just sat down there, drank water, and just relaxed in the shadow because, fucking burning sundown on everything. And then this asshole came along and was looking how much work we have done, and his first reaction is, why are you not working? And we just looked at him, at this fucking asshole who was driving around in a climatized car while we had some planks, they were literally just some wooden boards and on a plank, just making a little tent-like structure. That's the shadow we had. And we just sat there, not for a few minutes, and he was just seeing us first. Not how much we have done, but seeing us not working was why are you not working? Just, yeah, I get you. I totally get you. I once worked in a biolab, a cancer research institute. Long story, basically it was this whole thing, you need to work for a week somewhere, and I basically made 2 weeks because I got this, what was it called again? It's kind of, the job stuff, doing, looking at jobs when you were in school and all that. And I got it basically with my dad, and I actually liked it there for one reason. I wasn't treated like a fucking idiot. So, yeah, I was still in school and all that, but one of the things was that I got kinda hired into that because they were one of the workers at the lab was ill, and so and because I actually kinda knew the guy because a friend of my father worked. They both worked at the same it's basically university hospital thing combination, and he was just oh yeah, your child is smart enough, they can just work at that position. I'm just gonna explain what they have to do. They're smart enough to do it. And this is probably one of the reasons in hindsight why I liked that job, because this was not someone talking down to me. This was someone talking to me, face to face, on my level. They were we know what you can do. We teach you. You can do it. And then they actually try to he actually also tried to like teach me a lot of stuff about, you know, genetics and how I think it was like gene splicing and all that works, because I mean they were kind of working with they kind of were working on the whole idea to make I think viruses that kill cancer cells. So that was actually like really cool stuff to battle leukemia and all that. So, you know, not even like pretty important research actually. And they were just like, yeah, you can work here. We're like, we know you can do that. And it was like very level authority. Like obviously, the chef at the top was there because he, well, knew most of the stuff. But you gotta, like, he also like was just for that there, and all the other parts he was just, you know, he was just very anti-authoritarian. And this is also a reason why I say I am against unjust hierarchies, because when it comes down to, you know, decisions in terms of research, well, some people know more than I do. And I should probably not, like, talk against them saying, like, this is the better way to do stuff, because they usually know the better way to do things. But when you're, like, having a guy that's just at the top and commands you around because he's your boss, that's just, there's no reason. There's literally no reason why he should be allowed to do that. That's unjust. Absolutely. You really sound to have like a great job you like and a great boss. Even though I find it interesting that you describe him as Italian and lovely, which is like, I'm wondering what the Italian part is doing there. Still, I mean, you know, yeah, I think this should be standard. You should be able to, you know, not have jobs usually that are just exploitative and just work downwards and are like authoritarian and all that. That just should not be the standard, yet it is. And this is one of the reasons why I'm sitting here and like rather stream 2 to 3 times per week and talk about games and try to expand and find new people, like new viewership, and increase it, and maybe one day make a living out of it, rather than, you know, try my luck at that word. Even though, yeah, I know the chances of me actually being able to live off of Twitch are 0. But I have the choice of taking the very slim chance of maybe making it on a platform where I decide what I want to do, versus, well, the shithole out there. And you know what? As long as the chances that I might make a living off of Twitch are not 0, I will take that chance and I will run with it. Because fuck the alternative. I will not go back to be suicidal, and I will especially not sacrifice my life and my energy, my resources for some unknown asshole when I could spend all that energy on people I actually care about. And that's it, I think. I mean, we all go through shit. That's... Life's unfair, and we live in an unfair world. So yeah, that's me. I hope just like one day it spreads enough and enough people tune in and be like, hey. Or, you know, enough people are like on social media and be like, hey, those streams are good. Maybe you should tune in. Maybe you should just be there a bit for something. Who knows? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. getting late. I think I'm gonna, you know, end the stream after this round. This is, oh boy, 3 a.m. No, not 3 a.m. It's 2:30. You know, half an hour to 3 a.m. Whoops. And we haven't even talked about MMOs yet. Fuck. Why am I dying now? Yeah. And I will probably just sit back and watch another episode of The Boys. We're currently in season 2, and The Boys is a good series, and I goddamn love like, The Boys is actually really good. This is always kind of fun for me, because I'm, when it comes to some popular series, I usually just always watch them like years later, and then all my reactions like, holy shit, the series is actually really good, and then people are like, oh hey, yeah, we already watched everything, like, what stop spoiling me. I'm not there yet. I just have the deduction from the first half of everything that it's probably gonna be a very interesting time. But yeah, on the other hand, I mean, on the other hand, we probably should. I should probably finish Breaking Bad one day. Truth be told, I don't think Breaking Bad is a bad series. It has some great acting. It has some pretty great thematics. They really deal pretty well with the fact that, you know, you can at the beginning actually empathize with Walter White. You know, the whole medical system in the US is completely fucked. But I think what everyone leaves out of that is, I mean, there's always this joke, if Breaking Bad was set in Europe, it's more like he's going there like, oh, you have cancer, and then it's like, okay, here, paid for you, everything is fine. But this also like leaves out this whole point that like his friend wanted to pay for him. Like, I mean, I know it was like friend, like we haven't seen them in years, and they're rich, and he has some grudge. But like, when you actually watch that scene, his friend came to him and was like, "I'm gonna pay for it." Like he was like, "Walter, we haven't met in years, but you're still my friend, no matter what. I have the money, let me help you." And yeah, you're right. It was literally at that point that he was just like, I cannot let that happen because, you know, some fucks told Walter, you need to stand up and be a man. And I think so many people just really never realized that Breaking Bad was about, like, literally toxic masculinity. Yeah, it's toxic masculinity. It's literally Walter White going, I need to become a drug lord because that is manlier than literally having one of my best friends help me out with money. And then the rest of the series is literally just him being like, oh, I'm just gonna be an asshole and just make drugs because I like making and selling drugs because that actually gives me a big kick and I'm like really fucking amazing with it. And that is great. That is well written and I like that. And then there's the whole goddamn rest where they just sometimes act like total fucking idiots. I think we stopped watching Breaking Bad at literally the last episode of season 3. And if you're thinking like, well, man, you're just having like 2 seasons ahead of you, you could just like pick up and be like done in less than a week. Yeah, we could. But frankly, like, aside from the great writing in Breaking Bad, there's just so much writing that is just there, so there's more conflict. And it was just kinda... It's one of those series that just goes up and down and up and down and up and down all the time, and it's just tiring. And like maybe finishing it. And I know everyone is like Better Call Saul is better anyway, so who knows? But it's like with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Battle Tendency. Like this was also a series that like when it hit high moments, it was amazing. When it hit low moments, oh god, I wanted to literally just strangle the person who was responsible for that. Like you had like scenes where it's like, oh hey, just stuff happens and you clearly get telegraphed and it's like shown what happened, and you're like, he did that, and that's smart. And then you have like situations where they just talk and talk. Like there's this whole scene where they meet the pillar, like right before they meet the Pillar Man, and this whole scene is they talk, go down to the catacombs, talk with the Nazis a fucking lot. Then the Pillar Man emerges and it's like, oh hey, that's a cool theme. What happens though? They talk more. They just talk more. It's like a never-ending just talking, and you're like, Like I know talking is sometimes important, and literally some of my favorite series of all time, the Monogatari series, it's literally nearly just 2 or 3 people standing together and talking about shit in front of abstract backgrounds. I adore the Monogatari series. It's amazing, it's great, and it has amazing characters, and it's talking I just want to listen to all the fucking time while just getting bombarded with like weird visuals. It's so good, and Chef is amazing, and I love it. But with JoJo, and you know what? You know what then happened? Then they fucking made Stardust Crusaders. And Stardust Crusaders is literally something happens, then some guy starts talking and explaining what just happened. And this is the whole season. Something happens and someone in detail is going to explain what just happened. And then people are like, oh, this is one of the greatest seasons. No! Have you seen Stardust Crusaders? Like, Stardust Crusaders Season 2? Amazing. I fucking love it. Like, they cut out all the bullshit that I always was pointing to what in Season 1. Stardust Crusaders Season 2, amazing. Great. Amazing finale, amazing fight, just all around amazing. And Diamond is Unbreakable is even better. But just literally slap all the people saying Stardust Crusaders 1 is good in any way. It's just the worst of JoJo it can be. Cool. Now I'm ending with a JoJo rant. As if this stream wasn't rambly and weird enough anyway. Okay. To wrap this up. Thank you to the few that tuned into this, spontaneous midnight stream. It's like past midnight. I hope you had fun and it was not too depressing and yeah. As usual, if you want to support the channel, there is a Ko-Fi I will post on Twitter. Please be mindful if you spend your money, because it's hard times, not everyone has money. Be 100% sure you want to donate and you can afford it. Otherwise, I do hope you're going to have a great weekend still, and you're going to tune in tomorrow when we are going to play more Locomotion and playing more and building more Britain. Well, no, we're not building Britain. We are flattening the Scottish Highlands. They will finally fall before us. That's our plan. And yeah, otherwise, enjoy the rest of the evening, or the beginning of the new day. Who knows? I will watch more The Boys now, probably. And until then, goodbye.